Hello. This is going to be episode 2 of the TEW 2016 challenge run. It's going to be both SmackDown and 205 Live in this one. So let's just get it underway. We start SmackDown with this cunt coming to the ring, Charlotte Flair, and she's like, hey, I watched Raw and I saw Becky got suspended, so that means that there's now an open slot for WrestleMania, and she feels like since she's got unfinished business with Ronda Rousey that she should fill that spot and wrestle her for the Raw Women's title. And then, right on cue, the gay mug Papa Backstage comes out and he's like, Charlotte, I understand you want to get your hands on both Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, but you are a SmackDown superstar, and she can't just get a free title shot from the Raw Women's title because that was an honour earned by winning the Royal Rumble, which she did not do, Becky did. So he's like, no you can't, yeah, you have to own it, sort of Asuka, because that's your champion. And Charlotte, she's just being a bitch about it, a spoiled brat, and basically just laughs it off and walks away saying nothing. So what's going to go on in her evil, dubious little mind? We then get this match, which they set up IRL. It's Rusev and Shinsuke against Club, and they win with a Kinshasa. It says Lana hit Shinsuke, but that's not actually supposed to be that. It's supposed to be Rusev accidentally hit him, but they still got the win. But I couldn't have Rusev interfere and be in the match, so I had to put Lana as a substitute. And that's actually a pretty decent match. They've got neutral chem, so I don't know if they had excellent chem. And speaking of chem, the save that Raw was run on is dead. So Baron Corbin's injury and all the chemistry notes from that show are now null and void for the rest of the save. So Balor and Rush, Elias and Apollo. Because I made a mistake, so I had to completely restart. I rebooked everything as it was. And yeah, we're now here. New US champion R-Truth comes to the ring. He says that after he beat both Rusev and Shinsuke last week, he feels on top of the world. He feels like he's in his prime after capturing his second US title. And he feels like he can take on anybody and anyone that he wants. So he shoots out an open challenge to anybody in the back. Carmella is busy because she's got women's tag team stuff to sort out, which we'll see later on. So he issues the challenge, and then the arena goes dark. And we hear,
I am in the top 1%.
EC3 is the man who comes out. He gets into the ring saying nothing because he hasn't spoken at all yet. And then the bell rings to start the match. And EC3 beats R-Truth in 11 minutes to win, become the new United States champion on his in-ring debut on the main roster, because he didn't fight Dean Ambrose in this save. And yeah, interesting turn of events. EC3, the new US champion. We cut backstage and we've got Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville and the Iconics all sitting in Triple H's office. And then he walks in after dealing with Charlotte earlier on, and he's like, ugh.
There will be the Mandy Rose and the Absolution girls and Iconics, ugh. You'll be 2 of the free SmackDown tag teams in the Elimination Chamber, ugh.
And then Naomi and Carmella would walk in and they were like, hey, since we're just claiming spots now and not owning them, I guess we're in as well. And Triple H laughs at him, and he's like,
I see what you're doing, You're not on a real tag team or an alliance, but you've banded together because you see an opportunity arising. So I'll tell you what, I found 2 women who actually are a tag team, and they'll face you and Naomi later tonight. The winners will get the final spot in the Elimination Chamber.
And this is a match I don't know how much you're going to do in the game, because you can't do tag team chambers. I think it's going to be just one person from each team in the match. This is something that didn't come to my mind when I first said I was going to do it, but I've now realised is a problem. So yay. Quick match after they become the number 1 contenders last week. We've got the Usos, Jimmy Uso against The Miz, and it says he got a win with the ropes for leverage, but it's a accidental Shane McMahon distraction that caused The Miz the match. So maybe the besties aren't on their best form. Carmella and Naomi come out together to try and prove their togetherness. And there's actually an interesting note because it's the match here, and it says that Naomi and Carmella don't work well as a team. So it's a good job that they're not going to get in the match, because they come out with their sparkly glow fabulous entrance. And we await the arrival of the 2 women who Triple H has picked out to face them. It's none other than these 2 from NXT, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. This isn't an unofficial call-up for them, it's because in the situation SmackDown had no tag teams, so they would need to have called upon NXT to provide them one, and as you'd expect, they get the win, because Carmella and Naomi don't work well as a team as it is, so rip to them. I love how Io and Kairi, 2 of the best women's wrestlers on the planet, are the ones that are improving. Backstage, we have to call him that every single time, the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan, his hippie friend, are shown backstage. And he's just cutting a promo saying that every single person in the match trying to fight for his title is a planet destroyer. He singles out Mustafa Ali, who he goes back to on the first SmackDown as a driver of an SUV. He says Jeff Hardy is a terrible influence, who'll smoke anything he can find, which will cause extra air pollution because of the smoke. AJ Styles says he's an advocate for consumerism, as he hasn't forgotten about the merch stand brawl and AJ's attitude toward Bryan from a month or so ago. Randy Orton calls himself an apex predator. This encourages the consumption of meat and the murder of animals, and that is not how Bryan and Rowan work. And Samoa Joe is consuming too much junk, and as you can tell by looking at him, Bryan would say, which probably won't go down well when he meets Samoa Joe face to face. He then says that he's going to win at the Chamber, and he's going to be the guiding light to save not only Ali, Hardy, Styles, Orton and Joe, but also the entire WWE and the entire planet, because he's a delusional heel. We then get, I say short, a very long match. But is this game just not picking up my... It says after Sheamus interfered, well, Sheamus would have interfered, but the finish would have actually come after Andrade distracted Rey, which sets up this hot angle where Andrade attacks Rey, and Zelina Vega grabs the mic and she says, Rey, you and Andrade have shared the wins with each other, and there's only one way to settle this, and that's at the Elimination Chamber. They go 1-on-1 in a 30-minute Iron Man match. The winner scores the most falls over those 30 minutes, as I'm sure you'll know how the Iron Man match works. Then we just get a main event, Jeff Hardy and Mustafa Ali beaten by Orton and Joe. And I've just noticed that Joe has picked up an injury. Yay. That is absolutely what I wanted to see. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh god damn it, it was RV that hurt him. 84B plus, which I think is a very good show for the second show. I don't think any real segments on the goals got advanced on this show because the people have got a pusher on Raw. Killing Shane, I can't really control that. It's up to the game. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna stick to a 5 Live on the end of this. So be back in a second. And we're back with 205 Live, which starts with Drake Maverick and Buddy Murphy in his office. Muddy Murphy says he's beaten all of the viable challengers for him and he's looking for someone new. And Maverick's like, okay, I'll humour that. The 4-way main event, we'll see Tozawa, Metalik, Cedric and Gulak in a 4-way where the winner will face you at the Elimination Chamber. Another quick match with Mike Kanellis and Tony Nese, which got terrible rating. I didn't change this for this show for some reason. And apparently Mike and his wife don't click, which is a good for me trying to get her with Mojo Rawley, but bad for Mike. Mike says he'd be better off without Maria. Mate, you wouldn't be employed without Maria Kanellis as your manager, so... Backstage segment. Daivari and Metalik's supposed to be off screen here. Gulak's getting ready for his match when he's approached by Arya Daivari, who's like, hey, I want you to win tonight, buddy, because you're my favourite of the 4, but I especially want you to stop that Lucha Party boy, Grand Metalik. I can't stand his attitude, blah blah blah. We're no flight, we're the serious tough guys of 205 Live. Did I click next? I did not click next, okay. Then another quick match. Leo Rush, who doesn't click with Humberto Carrillo. So again, ignore these two, these won't be there for much longer. It's just this one show. And since it's 205 Live, it doesn't affect our pop, so it's fine to do it on this show. Gallagher and Brian Kendrick, who I believe were feuding not too long ago, with Kendrick with Tozawa and Gallagher with... Was it Gulak? Yeah, I think it was Gulak. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry for everything I did. We used to be pals, because I know they did used to be pals. And maybe we should prove that we're the classiest two men on this show. Team up yet again and take everyone down. And Kendrick, being the babyface, is like, no, I don't want to do that, because I know somebody who's gonna be the next top guy, and it's not you. And that leaves us wondering who it's gonna be. And I forgot to set up a storyline for this. Main event, again, ignore the danger stuff down here. But it is Tozawa who pins Gulak with a suplex, and it is Tozawa who will be facing Buddy Murphy at the Elimination Chamber. E+, 205 Live, that's not important. It won't be that bad every single week. But once the danger stuff has been sorted out, it'll be respectably bad. So, yeah. See you for next week's Raw.